AITA for spreading gossip about my coworker. I 3 have found myself in a moral quandary after succumbing to the temptation to spread gossip about a coworker. Let's call her Sarah 30F. Sarah and I had worked together for several years, and while we were friendly, we weren't particularly close. However, when I stumbled upon some juicy gossip about Sarah's personal life, I couldn't resist the urge to share it with a few other colleagues. The gossip I had heard about Sarah was scandalous and intriguing, and I knew it would spark conversations and pique the interest of others in the office. Without considering the potential consequences, I casually mentioned the gossip to a couple of colleagues during a coffee break, thinking it was harmless office chatter. To my surprise, the gossip quickly spread like wildfire throughout the office, reaching Sarah's ears within a matter of days. When Sarah confronted me about spreading rumors about her, I felt a pang of guilt and regret for my actions. I realized that my careless gossiping had not only hurt Sarah's feelings, but also damaged her reputation and undermined her trust in me as a colleague. Feeling ashamed of my behavior, I apologized profusely to Sarah and admitted that I had been wrong to spread gossip about her. I explained that my intentions were never malicious, but I understood that my actions had caused her pain and embarrassment. Despite my apology, Sarah remained upset and distant, making me question whether I was the asshole for spreading gossip about her in the first place. I couldn't help but feel guilty for contributing to the toxic office environment and betraying Sarah's trust. Now, I'm left grappling with the consequences of my actions and wondering if there's anything I can do to make amends and repair the damage I've caused.
Let's get to the comments.
Yes, you're the asshole for spreading gossip about your coworker. While it may have seemed like harmless office chatter at the time, your actions had serious consequences for Sarah. Gossip can be damaging and hurtful, especially when it involves someone's personal life. By spreading the gossip, you betrayed Sarah's trust and damaged her reputation in the workplace. Your apology is a good first step, but it's important to understand the impact of your actions and take responsibility for them. Consider how you can make amends, such as publicly acknowledging your mistake and working to create a more positive and supportive work environment. It's essential to learn from this experience and refrain from engaging in gossip in the future.
Next comment.
Yes, you are the asshole for spreading gossip about your coworker, Sarah. Gossiping about someone's personal life without their consent is not only disrespectful, but also harmful. By sharing the gossip with your colleagues, you contributed to a toxic work environment and damaged Sarah's reputation and trust in you. Apologizing to Sarah was a necessary first step, but it's important to recognize that words alone may not be enough to repair the damage caused. You should take responsibility for your actions and actively work to rebuild trust with Sarah by demonstrating genuine remorse and making efforts to support her in the workplace. Moving forward, commit to refraining from engaging in gossip and focus on fostering a positive and respectful work environment. Consider how you can contribute positively to your workplace culture and support your colleagues, including Sarah, rather than spreading rumors and negativity.
Next story.
AITA for not inviting my coworker to happy hour. I, 28 meters, recently found myself in a dilemma when planning a happy hour outing with my colleagues. Let's call my coworker David 30 meters. David and I have worked together for over a year, and while we have a cordial relationship at work, we're not particularly close outside of the office. When organizing the happy hour, I initially intended to invite all of my colleagues, including David. However, as the date approached, I received a message from another colleague expressing concerns about David's behavior at previous social gatherings. They mentioned that David tends to drink excessively and become loud and obnoxious, making others uncomfortable. Feeling conflicted, I debated whether to extend the invitation to David or exclude him from the gathering. On one hand, I didn't want to exclude him based on hearsay or rumors about his behavior. On the other hand, I didn't want to risk the possibility of him causing a scene and ruining the evening for everyone else. In the end, I made the decision not to invite David to the happy hour. I rationalized my choice by convincing myself that it was in everyone's best interest to avoid potential drama and discomfort. I also reasoned that since David and I weren't particularly close, he might not even be interested in attending. However, when David found out about the happy hour through other colleagues, he seemed hurt and offended by not being invited. He confronted me about it, asking why he hadn't received an invitation. Feeling guilty, I stumbled over my words, trying to come up with an excuse for not inviting him. David's reaction made me question whether I was the asshole for excluding him from the happy hour. While I had valid concerns about his behavior based on what I had heard from others, I couldn't help but wonder if I should have given him the benefit of the doubt and invited him anyway. Now I'm left feeling guilty for potentially hurting David's feelings and causing tension in our working relationship.
Let's get to the comments.
In this scenario, you're not necessarily the asshole, but you may have handled the situation poorly. Your intentions were to avoid potential discomfort and drama at the happy hour by not inviting David, which is understandable given the concerns about his behavior. However, excluding him without directly addressing the concerns or giving him the opportunity to prove himself may have been unfair. It's possible that David was unaware of how his behavior was perceived by others and could have benefited from the chance to participate in a social gathering with his colleagues. In the future, it would be more considerate to have an open and honest conversation with David about the concerns raised regarding his behavior. This would give him the opportunity to address any misunderstandings and demonstrate his ability to behave appropriately in social settings. If the issue persists despite your efforts, then it may be appropriate to reconsider inviting him to future gatherings.
Next comment.
Your situation is indeed delicate. While it's understandable that you were concerned about potential disruptions to the happy hour, excluding David based solely on hearsay without giving him the chance to prove himself may have been unfair. In retrospect, you could have approached David directly to discuss your concerns and set clear expectations for his behavior at the event. However, your intentions were rooted in maintaining a positive atmosphere for everyone, and you ultimately made the decision you thought was best at the time. Moving forward, it might be beneficial to communicate openly with David about your concerns and give him the opportunity to address them before making similar decisions in the future.